GP Most Report. Today I'm gonna show the result of my test of riding the foil drive with the battery box mounted in the large fanny pack that I have on my wrist right now. Of course, the battery will go in one of those pockets and the cable comes out this way and the whole thing will be sitting on the back like this. I think there'll be other footage that will show that setup. Now it came off, but it wasn't intentional. My reasoning for this was that I'm 70 kilos. The big battery is 2 kilos. Maybe with the box is a little more than that. Let's say, just for simplicity, 2 kilos. Let's say the board, this one in particular, is 5 kilos. Again, that's a simplification. With the weight on my waist, I'm going to be a 72 kilos guy riding a 5 kilo board. With the box on the board, I'm going to be a 70 kilo guy riding a 7 kilo board. And I thought, well, that is for sure it's going to be better to be 72 and ride a 5 kilo board. Well, that was not the case. Well, it would have been the case if it was a real 7 kilo board, like heavy or heavily glassed or with some water in it. The thing is that if you put the battery box in the right spot, it's not like having those 2 kilos distributed all over the board, and that would be bad because then you feel the swing weight when you pump and when you turn. Instead, the position where I put it, and if you sup foil with full strap, you can put it there too. It's so good that it's actually better, I'm jumping to the conclusions, to have the box on the board. Because why is this position so good? Because as you can see, it is pretty much right on top of the front foil, and as I explained many times in some videos, if my hand is the lever, it's the board when you pump. If the battery box is right on top of the front foil, which is the fulcrum of the lever, it doesn't add weight to any of the two ends. So if in case instead your battery box is at the back or at the front because you're front foil or stuff like that, then it will make sense to explore the possible fanny pack solution. But wait until you hear all the pros and cons. First, in order to use a fanny pack, you need to have a long cable, and that's why I originally bought it 2 meters, which now if I don't use, I just coil up on the deck and it doesn't bother me at all. It also helps me if I want to do the e-foil style with the pod all the way at the bottom. Instead, for wave riding, I like it over there so that it doesn't bother the wave riding once I catch a wave. So if I want to do the e-foil, I have extra cable to do that. And also I had already mined the test with the fanny pack. So you need to have a long cable, and this, look at this. This is the extremely short leash I had to use because in case I fall, I wanted, this goes on my waist also, yeah? I wanted the leash to catch well before the cable. But of course, I mean, look how short the thing is. If I was gonna fall forward, I don't think I even had the clearance to fall over the front of the board, so it was sketchy nonetheless. I just wanted to experience the thing. But it is dangerous because you can hit the board, and also after the wipeout with the short leash, you are so close to the board that you can hit it. And also the system might fail, like the leash breaks, then you pull the cable. If you pull the cable off here, the water goes in the electronics, the system is fucked up. If you pull the cable off here, it's pretty bad too, I believe. So there are really high risks of using this system, and that's why I strongly don't recommend it. The foil drive guys don't recommend it. It would definitely void the warranty if you break it like that, so think about it twice. Okay, after this long introduction, let me mention the pros of and cons of the two different configurations. I had 2 sessions in decent side waves with exactly this setup, 90 liter board and 740 Phantom S F1 foil, you know, head eye or more. And what I noticed is that I did like the fact that when I was doing, you know, I always call it like shortboard style pumping down the line, going left, let's say I'm goofy, There's little pumps, not so much of up and down pump, but left-right, shortboard style. I was loving the fact that the board was back to its original weight without the 2 extra kilos. And so in those sessions of pure wave riding, I thought, oh, this is pretty good. That was the first session. The second session was so good the condition, I stayed out 2 hours. Well, guess what? 2 hours with extra 2 kilos on my waist, my legs were tired. You try hike 2 hours with extra 2 kilos, you feel it. You don't feel it in the first 10 minutes. So having the extra weight on your body sucks. It really wasn't a pleasant experience. Then I did a third session in completely different conditions. Bigger board, 110 liters, much bigger foil, 1550 Armstrong, and tiny waves, and it was mostly catch the wave with a foil drive and pump. So every pump with the waist, with the battery box on the waist was bad. Because what was happening is that I was moving that 2 kilos up and down. So let's say you are at the bottom of the pump. Now that you bring in those 2 kilos up against the gravity, it feels more like 2 kilos. It might feel like 3 or even 4. I don't know. I don't want to put numbers, but it feels heavier. And then you get up, and when you come down, it feels kind of weightless because you're going with the gravity. But as soon as you reach the bottom of the pump and you start pushing again, I noticed that I was slamming sometimes the 1550 down because I had extra weight on me. That tells you how important it is, the weight of the rider in the choice of the foil, really. Yeah, just those 2 extra kilo on my body in the upside of the pump was slamming it down. Compared to when instead I had it on the board and the pumping, the real pumping up and down, not the side to side shortboard style pump I was mentioning before. The foil pumping up and down was a lot better with the weight on the board. Those were the 2 main, the pro on one side, the pro on the other side. Overall, in my case, there is no question I am never ever gonna use the fanny pack again. I was interested to try. And one more time, if you are a prone guy that uses the battery box all the way in the front, then it makes more sense, because I don't even know, because I never tried it, but I know how bad it is to have the battery box all the way at the back. I can only imagine how horrible it must be to have it over here, in my opinion, because it's so far off the fulcrum of the lever when you go up and down. So the main message is try to put it in the middle on top of the front foil and your life will be wonderful. Okay, I'm ready to hit the water. I just wanted to show you one. Now that I have it on, check how short the leash is, how much slack I have in the cable of the foil drive. So no matter what direction I fall, the leash is always going to catch before. Well, while I'm at it, let me also show the fact that I could be doing the e-foil style with a 1550 Armstrong and my 150 pounds weight and my sub foiling board, which is pretty big, it's 110 liters. Even if I set, as I did, maximum thrust on the remote control at only 80%. Okay, cruising at 35% at the moment. I'm gonna stand up, put my feet in the foot straps right away. Actually, no, if I want to e-foil, I'll keep my back foot to the front of the back strap. And I'm gonna go full throttle, which means again I set it at 80%. I got a little bit of side on wind that won't help, but I think it's enough. We'll find out. Maybe I even try not to paddle at all if I can get up. Let's see. So slowly increment the speed. Okay, now I'm 100%, which means 80%. The wind, no way. See if I paddle. Of course, the paddle always helps. And now I'm e-foil. So no paddle. And the pod is fairly low. Water is a little choppy. But look at this. I'm e-foiling at 80% of the power, which means my session can last a lot longer if I was e-foiling out at 100%. Knee-high bomb coming. Let's see.
full throttle means 80%, so I definitely need to do a little bit of paddling, and I want to wait until this wave eventually gets a little bigger, which she won't. So I'm going to start my paddling action, my pumping action right here. Okay, so I'm pumping now, and I can feel the weight on the waist going a little up and down, which is honestly not the most pleasant thing. Maybe I got one cutback coming here. Very wide anyway. So what I noticed with the pumping, I gotta be gentle when I push down. This is the thing. When you're going up, you feel the weight of the box, and even more because you're going against the gravity. So I gotta be gentle. Otherwise, depending on what speed I'm going, of course, I risk to slam the foil down because of the extra weight I had on my waist. Hope that's clear. Okay, first wave with the box on the board. It's actually the biggest wave I caught so far. I like the lack of weight on my waist, of course. But now we're talking performance. Influence on the ride, on the board, the mast. Yeah, I like it better, honestly. This pumping at slow speed, I don't feel like I'm moving that weight up and down. I mean, I am, but it's on the board. It's a little lower. Hard to explain, more like a feeling. Right? The main thing, I got 2 kilos less on my legs that need to support. So check it out. I know it was a slightly bigger wave, but I'm going all the way to the beach, which I haven't done with the fanny pack.